Okay, so right about the time when you feel like things are going really well with feeding your twins, like they're going a little bit longer in between feedings, they are sleeping better through the night, they are faster, more efficient when they are feeding. Usually around like 4, 5, 6 months old, they go through many times a distracted phase. Basically, what that looks like is babies will latch on. They may nurse for like 1 to 2 minutes. They kind of get that letdown going. And if they're anything like mine, they unlatch um, shortly after you let down. So there's milk everywhere. But basically, they're just doing really short feedings. And sometimes they'll just flat out refuse to nurse. That borders more so on a nursing strike, but either way, distracted nursing or nursing strikes are super anxiety producing. Our instinct is to feed our baby, and if there's something that comes in between that, it can be really frustrating. So when I heard our first set of twins, they went through this starting around 4 months old, and I followed all the recommendations. I went into a dark room, I cut out all the other stimulus, but really nothing seemed to be like a long-term fix. Like it would help for like a feed or two and then stop working. So when you're tandem nursing twins and they're going through this, it can be especially tricky because sometimes one of them is going through the distracted phase and the other one's not. So they kind of distract the one who's focused. Sometimes they're both going through it at the same time. It just depends. So I developed this trick that I used with my first set of twins. It worked really well. And so then I used it with the second set as well. So basically, I would keep a pile of random objects next to us when we nursed. So I'm just gonna show you an example. I just like pulled these out from places in my house. Things that are not going to hurt them, obviously. So like a plastic measuring spoon, a pump flange, medicine cup, plastic spoon, pretty much like any small object that they can hold in their hands. It's not heavy. And it's something that they don't see very often. So like baby toys, 6 months old, they're used to seeing rattles and different textures and whatnot. So these things are like kind of like novel items for them. Anyway, so I would hand them each an item. They'd latch on, they'd start feeding. They would hold it above them. They would kind of look at it while they were nursing, flip it around, and then they would sometimes trade items with each other. It was kind of funny, but it really worked well. When they got sick of whatever it was they were holding, I would hand them something else. So basically, you are distracting them from their distraction, if that makes sense. We even had a few little like small books, like board books, and they would read them while they were nursing, which was so funny. It just reminded me of like an old man reading a newspaper. But try this out. Let me know if it helps. Follow me for more tips and tricks on lactation and especially with twins.